Hey guys, you are back for a brand new episode of the podcast, episode 39. We have a very special guest today. He's one of the top lightweights in Bellator, and he's competing next week, August 21st, on Bellator 244, Nemkov versus Beta. Mr. Adam, the bomb Piccolotti. Hope you guys enjoyed this kind of interviews. If you like these kind of interviews, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and press the bell notification down below. Check it out, people. Hey guys, it's Hammad and Adam from mmadiagnosis, and today I have a very special guest with me. He's one of the top lightweights in Bellator, and he's competing on Bellator 244 next week, August 21st, in the Mohegan Sun Arena in Connecticut. Mr. Adam, the bomb Piccolotti, how are you, man?
Oh, doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate it. And so competing next week. How's the fight prep going?
It's been good. It's been a little challenging with the whole state of the world at the moment, but, we're making it work.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you that because you and your opponent, Sidney Outlaw, you're supposed to fight in May, right? And then it got postponed. So it got postponed. Yeah. How has the COVID situation affected your training? Has it?
Oh man, it's been a little bit tough. Definitely, getting into gyms, even to lift weights or obviously to train with any kind of partners has been really hard and very limited. So there's been a lot of things that we've had to do. Kind of thinking outside the box and getting some more outdoor activities and things like that. And but with that being said, I feel like we've done a great job, and I feel really ready to get after it.
Yeah, because your fight camp. How long has that been then, like the actual camp? Because I'm guessing from the postponement, you probably didn't know when you're getting back in, right? So have you been training hard all the way since May, or has it been you've taken a break and then?
Well, generally, I'm always training, right? I'm lucky enough to be full-time fighting, where I just teach classes and train and fight as my living. So I'm always somewhat active. Within definitely the first couple months of COVID, there was a lot less activity. And yeah, we really were unsure of what the heck was going to go on. I actually got the official call to this fight about 4 weeks ago. And so kind of the official fight camp was only about 4 weeks long, but my shape was fairly good. I was staying fairly active. So I don't think it was much of an issue.
All right. So because I was going to say only 4 weeks, because you're quite a tall guy, right? In lightweight, you're about 5'11". So is it a tough weight cut, or is it because you only got 4 weeks, right? So
yeah, all weight cuts are tough, man. They all suck.
Yeah.
But even throughout the COVID, right? Most people in the world gained weight. I was just trying to maintain. I was trying to stay busy, and without being able to do all the stuff that I like to do, like wrestle, jiu-jitsu, striking, that stuff usually makes me so tired where I don't like to do the other stuff as much. I don't like to run as much and do that kind of boring stuff to me. So with that kind of being my only option, that's what I was doing. So I was able to keep my weight fairly low to where it really wasn't much of an issue for this fight. I think my weight cut is going to go just fine next week.
All right. Because how much do you usually weigh off season? Is it?
Oh, it varies. It varies. I can get up to 185, 190 sometimes if I'm not careful. Yeah. But generally, I like to sit around 175 throughout my fight camp. Show up to fight week about 170 or so.
All right. So you're cutting about 15 pounds on the week of the fight.
Yeah, with a little bit of water restriction before I end up actually water cutting about 8 or 9 usually in the sauna or whatever I end up doing.
All right, cool, man. And so you're training fully at CSA Combat Sports Academy. Are you training?
Yeah, this camp has been fully at CSA. It's been an amazing experience. Coach Kirian Fitzgibbons is one of the best minds in MMA. Amazing striking instructor, and I've had some awesome partners in Gaston, Bolanos, Eddie Abasolo, a handful of other really tough unknown guys there too. So it's been a really good camp this time.
So have any of the Team Alpha Male guys been down there as well? Andre Feely and a few
Yeah, absolutely. I work a lot with Feely. I work a lot with Alex Munoz. Even a younger man, Hector. There's a lot of tough guys that come in and get in the mix. So it's been a ton of fun.
All right, because online it still says you're training at AKA, so I don't know what that's about, but yeah, that's what.
Well, I haven't it's not like I cut ties with anybody like that. It was more so originally there was no access to anything at AKA, where I had some access to some work that I could do at CSA, and I had already been starting to train over there for the past 3 or 4 years. a couple times a week, things like that. So all I did was I kind of just increased the time that I spent there. And yeah, like I said, it's been great.
Yeah, because CSA now, I saw in your Insta story you were bruised up a bit, bruised up yesterday from sparring with Gaston Bolanos. How's it sparring with him? Because we know he's a very high level Muay Thai guy. So and he's a Bellator fighter as well now, right? So
yeah,
how's it sparring with him? Getting that striking, has it increased your game like a lot?
Oh, crazy! Yeah, crazy. You know, Gaston's become one of my best friends. He's like my brother now. Over the past 3 or 4 years, you know, we actually met during one of my worst experiences, which was my 2017 fight with David Rickles. You know, that's where we first got to get to know each other. And immediately following that fight, I started getting work with him. So getting to really share knowledge with him has been amazing. You know, I'm trying to take his grappling to the next level. He's been trying to take my striking to the next level. And yeah, when we get in there with each other, sometimes it gets to be some fireworks.
Yeah, I can imagine. So I was just gonna I was looking at your record. So you had like 4 or 5 fights, and then you got straight into Bellator, right? Do you think that was like a quick jump, like into like a major organization? You were ready, obviously, but I'm talking as a general aspect in MMA. Like, it seems like in boxing, it's just like you have 15 fights, then you may be getting into an organization like Bellator, UFC. But it seems like in MMA now, there's like 4 or 5 fights if you're finishing them.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is this: it's a big organization, but my first few fights there weren't necessarily very much different than, you know, the caliber of fighters I was fighting at the Dragon House, which was that small organization. I feel that Bellator has kind of built me in a pretty good way, where I was fighting guys that were tough, but not like just straight throwing me to the wolves in the beginning. And another aspect of that is it was hard for me to get fights in the smaller leagues, being 3-0 and then 4-0 at the time at Dragon House. Possessing a black belt in jiu-jitsu, every fight that I had, I would go through 3, 4, 5 opponents before actually getting a fight. And it was leading me to fight once or twice a year. So Bellator was there when they saw me get the belt for Dragon House, and they offered me a fight. And yeah, I think it was perfect timing for me personally.
Yeah, because I was watching you since your Bellator debut, right? So that was like, what, 5, 6 years ago? So I've been watching you since then. I at first they were putting a lot of hype on you, right? Like, oh, Adam Piccolotti undefeated. I was like, I didn't believe it at the time, because I was like, he's not tested yet. And then you beat Brandon Girtz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you beat Brandon Girtz, I was like, okay, this guy's legit, man. He's beat a tough guy. So, and then you had your 2 losses, right? Do you want to get them 2 back? Goiti, Yamaguchi, and Dave Rickles? Or do you feel like if you beat Sidney Outlaw now, and then you want to go probably one more fight and then the title, right?
Yeah, you know, of course I want to get him back. I mean, David Rickles, he can kick rocks. I don't really care about that guy. I fought him at almost 170. You know, we were at 166. Yeah. You know, it was a stupid fight for me to take. That was a big time where I realized that I needed more professional management. Mm-hmm. You know, I've always had great coaching, but that's not necessarily the same thing. So that was a bad fight for me to take. I definitely want the Goiti fight. I definitely want to take care of him at some point here. He is still one of the other top lightweights in the division too. So he's definitely still on the list. But yeah, man, like I say, I'm in this business to beat good people. I'm in this business to make money and to get world titles. So as soon as I can get that title shot, I feel that I'm absolutely ready. I'm experienced enough. I have everything that I need to gain that belt. And then from there, if they want to come up and try to take it from me, then I would prefer that path.
And so recently, Michael Chandler knocked out Benson Henderson. You and Benson Henderson had a very close fight. Could have went either way, right? So he got the W, unfortunately. But it's now that he's, he may go to the UFC, right? Do you think if he does well in the UFC, that boosts you up in a way? Because you guys, like in Bellator, like, does it make you guys look a lot better, or are you a bit like, oh man, I wanna fight this guy, man? Why is he going to the UFC?
Yeah, I've always wanted to fight Chandler. He's always been the guy that kind of people have talked about as as the Bellator fighter who should be in the UFC, this and that. But let me tell you, I've trained with a lot of guys from a lot of different organizations, and let's say the top 5 guys, man, it's needles close, it's so close between all of them. So, I mean, I think for the hardcores and for the people that are in the business, they already know that and are aware of that. But I think for the general public, it'll definitely make Bellator look a little bit better. I mean, personally, me and Chandler, we haven't fought. We have common opponent, but we haven't actually fought each other. So as far as my stock, I don't think it'll do much for it. Yeah, I still wanted my chance at Chandler, and him taking off would be kind of a bummer. But yeah, I guess we'll see what happens.
Do you feel like that opens up the division though, in a way? So like, if you just win this fight and maybe another fight, you'll be fighting for maybe the vacant title or...
Yeah, sure. Because I mean, they always want to give Chandler the title shot, which it's understandable. It's respectable. Chandler, he's a great fighter. He's been there forever. He's beat a lot of good guys. So I totally get it. But it's kind of like once Chandler loses, he fights one, then gets a shot. Once Chandler loses, he fights one, then gets a shot. And I'm not saying that that's unfair or maybe that shouldn't even happen. But yeah, it does kind of open the division a little bit more for myself. But realistically, what's holding up the division is Patricio, and that's got to change hopefully soon here. Yeah.
So moving from that, what do you think of your opponent then, Sidney Da Gun Outlaw? So he's beaten some tough guys, right? He's 14-4. He's beaten Roger Huerta, and then obviously he lost to Chandler. But how do you see that fight going?
I see it going however it needs to go, right? I feel very confident in myself, in my skills, in my conditioning, in my preparation. So all I think that needs to happen is for me to show up strong next week, mentally, physically, and go out there and put out my best performance. It's gonna be a one-sided fight.
One-sided, because he's got quite a lot of submissions under his belt, right? Do you want to take it to the ground, or do you just want to beat him up standing, or is it like, because you're black belt yourself, right? So I think it'd be comfortable, but would you just go for maybe like the striking, because maybe he's a bit more weaker there? Or...
Yeah, like I like to say, we'll see where it goes. Like I'll take it wherever he wants to take it. If he's gonna make a mistake and shoot on me, then we'll wrestle. Then we'll see who has the better grappling, And my striking, obviously being at CSA, has felt improved tenfold. Like my fight with James Terry, people got to see a glimpse of it, and I'll be happy to show him some of that too, depending on what he wants to do.
Because it's a bit weird, right? He lost his last fight, and you won your last fight. So I don't understand why they masked you up, but I guess maybe there was no...
And put us on the prelims, but yeah.
Yeah, that as well, yeah.
I'm not too sure about that. I've had a couple of those weird situations, even coming off of those 2 losses in 17, they pinned me up against Carrington Banks, who was undefeated at the time, on the main card, and I finished him, and the next fight I got put at a prelim card at a catch weight with old veteran and James Terry. So some of their matchmaking has been a little interesting at times. For the most part, it's been really good. I am happy with Bellator, but yeah, the prelim situation on this one is definitely a little bit odd.
Yeah, because I was looking at the card and I was like, why are you that low, man? I was like, you should be a main card, man. Because I'm used to, when I watch Bellator, I'm used to seeing you on the main card, right? So I was like, why? Like, he's got a solid record. He's got a good name. He's got good following. He should be on the main card, man. You're underutilizing your fighters.
That's the way I see it. I'm coming off of one win in the Benson fight, which was honestly a second win. So, I would really like to be on the main card. They only have 3 listed. I don't know if they're doing like a short main card or what's going on there, but we'll see. Either way, a fight is a fight, and I'm ready to get into it, especially having almost this whole year off because of the COVID thing. So, like I say, I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder at times with them, but it doesn't matter. All I got to do is win fights, so then everything else will come with that.
Yeah, because even in the UK, man, it's hard to watch the fights. It's like, where do you go on? Is your fight on YouTube?
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube, which obviously, like, there's kind of some benefits to that too, right? Like, I think hopefully you'll get a better audience, and people will be able to see it that way too. Yeah,
because I was like, because in the UK, I don't know if it's on Sky Sports or whatever, but I don't know if it's just the main card. It's so confusing. So I think YouTube might definitely way more eyeballs. We'll have way more people watching, right?
Yeah. So maybe it'll be a blessing in disguise for me.
Yeah. So how did you get the nickname the Bomb? Because I mean that nickname wouldn't work well for me, but it'll be work well for you. So how did you get to say the Bomb?
Yeah, that came straight from my dad. You know, he'd always call me the Atom Bomb. And
okay.
Back when I first started fighting, you know, he's always trying to tell me to use the nickname, and I kind of, you know, I'm not a nickname guy. I don't want to really do that, but I had a fight. It was up in Humboldt County, which was it was a good 5-6 hour drive from our house, and my dad's always been a big supporter, and he showed up, and just the fact that he was out there driving all night to get there and stuff like that, I felt that I wanted to show him some love, you know, some more love, and do it for him. So I told the announcer to call me the Bomb, and after that I just ran with it.
So talking about your dad, when you got into fighting, were they like, what are you thinking? Or were they like, get a regular job, or was it?
It was a little bit of mix, to be honest with you, because my family is a really like dichotomy, right? Like on my mom's side, there's a lot of tech savvy people. Like my uncle, he works for he used to work for EA Sports and Lucas Arts, and they're very computer oriented, very musical, and things like that. And then on my dad's side, he's got a huge family of a bunch of meat-headed athletes, you know, football players, wrestlers, baseball players. And so like my dad was always my biggest fan in wrestling, and he loved it when I started doing jiu-jitsu and competing in jiu-jitsu. As soon as I started getting into the boxing, the striking, and the MMA, he was a little bit hesitant, like, yo, you don't want to make a career out of this. Like, he'd always say that because he's a finished carpenter. He's like, you got to grow up to work with your mind and not your body. And I kind of did the exact opposite of that. So at first he was definitely like not really for it, like career wise. He liked it as a hobby. But, you know, with time and with the success, he became a super fan for sure.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. That's what you need. Sometimes you need that support, right, there from the family.
100%.
So your opponent's name's Da Gun, and you're the Bomb. I think we know which one's more deadly.
We all know who's going to win that. Come on, man. I actually didn't even realize he was called The Gun until maybe a week or so ago. So, I haven't had time to cut any sound bites on that one yet, but it'll get there.
So, you said you were training at AKA, right? So you've trained with some top guys. So what guys? So I'm gonna say a name. So Khabib now. Have you trained with him? Have you?
Yeah.
So how was that experience? Because he's obviously #1 pound for pound. You trained with that guy. So how was that sparring? Is he as strong as people say? I mean, like we hear people with some crazy statements. Is that true, or is that exaggerated?
No, he's absolutely a freak. You know, I've trained with him for many years now, and to be honest, I know, like, you know, days where Khabib's there, I better sleep early and eat my oatmeal, because it's gonna be a hard one. You know, I've had some amazing rounds with Khabib. He is a human being. You know what I mean? Like, he does make mistakes like everybody else. He does work on things in the gym like everybody else. But yeah, he's an absolute workhorse. He's strong as an ox. He's got a weird Dagestani style of strength where he's not like, you know, the most like round muscle kind of guy, but his ankles are just about as thick as my calves, right? He's got his wrists are giant. You know, he's got like a kind of weird built-in strength that you get from doing combat sambo for your entire life, you know.
Freaking wow! All right.
On top of that, he's an amazing person, man. I gain a lot of respect for that guy because at times there's people, not necessarily just at AKA, but anywhere, that are kind of like higher level guys or guys fighting in the UFC, and they like to not even talk down to people, but maybe ignore people or not give people the time of the day. Khabib's been the first guy to like say what's up to everybody, you know, and that's always gained my respect even more so than his skill. Yeah,
because talking about that, I feel like you're like that as well. Like you're quite a cool guy. Like even like with me, like messaging you, like, do you know what I mean? You do get the odd fire there. You can't even get a hold of them. So yeah, man, I appreciate that. And so was there any other, like, you said more UFC guys, right? How do you see yourself then? Do you think you can hang with the UFC like top 10, like, no doubt?
Oh, I know I can. Yeah, absolutely. I know I can. That division is it's definitely amazing, right? The UFC 135 division. But kind of like I touched on earlier, the top 5 in each division, like the top 5 guys in Bellator lightweight will do great with the top 10 guys in the UFC lightweight. I think the biggest difference is the volume and the depth of the roster. Like UFC is like, even their top 15 in the lightweight are all really good. So there's just more hard fights. I don't think the fights are necessarily harder. There's just more of them.
Yeah, but so let's just say now you beat Sidney Outlaw, emphatic fashion, destroy him. Who do you want next? Like, who are we calling out? Who do you see next? Like, do you have anyone in mind, or is it just like whoever's top 5, whoever's?
Yeah, we're going only up from there. You know, the kind of the bummer with Bellator, even though the ranking system can be wacky in the UFC, there is a ranking system, and so it's really easy to say if I'm number 4, I want number 3 or 2. You know, in Bellator, it's a little bit more, you know, up to their discretion. At this point, I just want the quickest road to that title. You know, I need to put a world title belt around my waist. And I think I match up freaking great with the champion, you know, being Patricio. I would love to mix it up with him as soon as possible. Heck, if Chandler doesn't leave, we can do that one first.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would be a fun one, you and Chandler. I love
absolutely.
Throwing bombs.
I've been looking at him for a long time, so that would be a good one. But again, he's got to do what he's going to do, and we can only go from there.
Yeah, and so Sidney Outlaw, Bellator 244. How for younger fighters now? You spoke about poor management, right? What would be advice to younger fighters coming up now, or they maybe want to get into Bellator, or they're 3-0, 4-0 like you were? What would be your advice?
I'd say, yeah. I mean, surrounding yourself with the best people that you possibly can is huge. And what happens is, I think people get attached to somebody, you know, a coach or somebody, and their personal attachment really gets in the way with what might be necessarily the smartest business deal. So I think, especially when it comes to the business aspect, let the business kind of people handle that stuff, you know. I love the death out of my jiu-jitsu coach, but he was not the right manager for me, and that's all there is to it, you know, and he understands that at this point. So I would say surround yourself with good people. You know, that's the biggest thing. Get smart people in your corner. It can be hard to tell at times, but do your homework, do your research, look around, listen to guys like me, people that have made mistakes in the past, learn from other people's mistakes so you don't have to do them yourself.
Yeah, because getting onto that, like you said, like, just say my brother's helping me now. If he's not the right man for the job, he's not the right man's job. It doesn't matter if we're brothers, right? If he can't do it, it's got to be the best guy, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, man, I definitely agree with that. And so Bellator now, like, honestly, like, I feel like a lot of the guys like yourself, man, there needs to be better marketing, in my opinion. I don't know if you agree, but definitely much better marketing. So let's go to some lighter questions now before we wrap up. Favorite striking technique?
Favorite striking technique? I would have to lean towards the elbow or knee. Yeah, let's go elbow, right? Just because of the physical damage that it produces. You know, I obviously had that finish with Mario Soto where I was able to land a nice elbow, cutting him open, and then the rear naked choke made the blood real shoot. So, yeah, I love the damage that a good elbow can serve.
Favorite submission?
So many. There's so many. But it's got to be the rice and beans. It's got to be the Mataleon, the rear naked choke. The reason why is because I always say something like the mount is cool, but the back is life, right? Like being on somebody's back is where you want to be in a fight. From there, then again, I like to say, like, they can choose how they want me to end the fight. If they want to cover their neck 100%, I can just smash them. If they want to cover from getting smashed, then I'll just choke them, right? So having the dichotomy of that makes the rear naked choke my favorite.
All right. And if you had one fighter to fight, any organization, any era, who would it be? Dream fight.
Ooh, that's a fun one. I would say, out of respect, it would probably be BJ Penn. BJ Penn has always been the man. He's always been so fun. That dude's never came to a fight and not wanted to fight. And he's always been an idol of mine. So with as much respect as possible, I haven't met the dude, but I already know I'd love him. BJ Penn.
In his prime, right?
Absolutely. I'm not trying to fight BJ Penn right now. Come on.
So
probably could if I go to the streets of Hawaii. I probably could if I wanted to.
Let's talk about that actually. Okay, let's talk about that actually, because he's post-fight now, like career. Like, have you ever thought about it, like what you would like to do? Or because I see you're doing the Twitch, so you're doing the game.
Yeah.
Is that where the direction you're going? Is that like an extra hustle on the side, or?
Yeah, I think I want to take it many different ways. Like the common saying goes, you got like money makes money, right? So I'm hoping to make some big money. I actually this is my first fight on my new contract, which is significantly better than my last contract, and so hopefully I can turn that into something else. But yeah, it's gonna be a plethora of things. I'm really working on creating a stronger brand right now, and starting to market the bomb. And, taking that one of many ways. I love the Twitch. If I could somehow continue to work on that and one day make that super successful, obviously that would be amazing. That is, in quotes, easy in terms of physicality. I get to play video games all the time, which I love to do anyways. But there's a lot of other options out there, investing in some property, opening gyms. And like I said, it's going to have to be multifaceted. We're going to have to get real intelligent with it and figure out other ways to make passive money with the big checks that I'm going to be getting.
Yeah, man, because I feel like a lot of fighters, they just bank on fighting, and then the money's limited, right? You only get it for a certain time. Once you're retired, there's no more investment. Yeah. So you got to think ahead. How many years do you see yourself having? Like, is it till the wheels fall off, or is it you got a set date in your head, like 35, 40?
It's kind of hard to say because everybody is so different, right? So you might see a fighter who's like 35 years old, who's super chinny, who's getting knocked out with the jab and all that kind of thing. But I've had a relatively safe career this far. I've got, 15 fights in my professional career, which isn't a crazy amount of fights for a 31-year-old. So I see myself fighting well into my 30s. Maybe 36, 37, something like that. But I don't have a specific time, It's going to be until the wheels fall off or my passion fades, There might be a time that comes where I don't want to go out there and fight anymore. I don't want to go through the intense, rigorous training camps if my body is not going to be happy handling it. Or maybe I find success elsewhere where I don't need the paycheck as much. I mean, right now, fighting is my passion. I absolutely love it. Even if I had millions of dollars in the bank, I would still fight. But I'm not a fool. I know that time is gonna come. I know this career definitely has a timeline to it. So we're gonna be playing it by ear. But I'm definitely trying to, especially now, make correct decisions with my money that I do make, put it in the right places, and turn it into more money.
Definitely, man, because I don't want to see you in your 40s having street fights in California, man.
No, that can't happen. I've never been the street fight type of dude, but yeah, that's definitely not happening.
Yeah. What do you think it is? Is it just like that adrenaline rush? Because you're a fighter, obviously, firsthand, man. You can't get it anywhere else, right? That's what they say.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, the adrenaline is it's a real drug, man, and I'm addicted to it as well, just in a different facet. Like, me naturally, I'm not much of a confrontational type of person. Like, if I could avoid arguing with somebody, I will. If I could not fight somebody in the street, I definitely will. But what I would also do is drive a dirt bike, ride my Harley, jump out of an airplane someday. Like that type of stuff I'm addicted to. Like being on any type of board, like that's what I grew up doing. I love that type of thing. That type of thrill for me is probably gonna always be in my life one way or another. But I think honestly, in BJ's case, it might have something to do with some of the headshots that he has withstood throughout his career. That might be adding into it, and that's a scary and a sad thing. But we're gonna continue to be evolving medically and learn more about that too. But fighters become fighters for a reason. Not everybody is going to go in there and step inside a cage in front of thousands of people and get into a fist fight. So there's obviously something going on in all of our brains that is a little different than the normal.
So would you say like a lot of fighters, because but would you say that a lot of fighters are like that, like they avoid conflict? Because you see it, you do it daily, right? Conflict. You're constantly being so it's like, what, man, I don't want to deal with this, man. Like, what, just leave me alone. Let me do my other stuff, right? Whereas a normal person, they don't.
Yeah,
get...
I think it could be common for fighters to be the way that I am about conflict and not wanting to fight somebody, but it's definitely not all of them. There's plenty of people out there like the Mike Perrys in the world, right? That like that shit, that like the, I don't know if it's deep-seated insecurity. I don't know if it's just like some sort of mental issues, but where they want that physical conflict, you know, and I don't know. I guess I could say I've been raised better than that, and I know better than that, and I still have a really level head on my shoulders where I can be logical about things as well as emotional.
Yeah, but to be fair though, he's actually quite a humble guy, man. Like, he's not like, I wouldn't say like even like I did a post on him and he shared it on his story. I was like, whoa, like this guy's got 400,000 followers. Like, you have people like that 5,000 followers and they don't want to know you. So it's like, sure. I'll give him that. He's a real dude. But yeah, definitely. And
I don't doubt it. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I've never met the guy, but there's something going on there.
But in his defense, the guy did come up to it, but like I said, he's an old dude, man. So
hey, it's just like Connor punching the dude in the bar. I mean, if an old dude disrespects me, I'm never gonna punch him. Period.
Wrestle them down and just.
Yes, if you have to get physical, if there's no other option, like that's what jiu-jitsu is for. Exactly what I was gonna say.
Exactly, man. Yeah. So, jiu-jitsu wise, like who are you training under? Raul Castillo. What's his lineage? Is his?
Yeah, so I come from a really short line of lineage, which I think contributes to the strength of our jiu-jitsu. Raul's instructor, Joao Perini, he learned from a man. Oh my God, it's been so long since I talked about this. Pedro Hemeterio. Pedro Hemeterio was a direct partner to Helio Gracie.
Wow.
Okay, he was the unknown guy that would always be working with Helio Gracie alongside. So, like we like to say, like as Helio developed his guard, Pedro developed his pass. And so as you know, as that goes, Pedro taught Joao. Joao moved to Half Moon Bay, and I was learning directly under Joao. So I started learning, you know, basically second generation jiu-jitsu, which is unheard of this day and age. He left shortly after. I only got to train with Joao for 6 to 8 months. He had some legal mumbo jumbo, and so he was out of the picture. But then it just became Raul, and that's it, man.
Yeah, man. Are you thinking of? You need a solid lineage. That's what I like about jiu-jitsu. You have the lineages, right? So it prevents like a lot of muck dojos going on in like other martial arts, right? So yeah. And you're gonna think about coming to the UK?
Dude, I would love to. I've been to just outside of the country a handful of times. I have never been to the UK, but man, I would love to be out there and visit. I know Hodger's out there somewhere. Yeah, and I mean, like that's actually high on my list. Is I would like to connect with the proper people who could set up seminars for me anywhere in the world. You know, traveling and visiting places is definitely something that I've grown to really love. And the UK has always been super high on my list too. So hell yeah, man, I would love to be out there.
Yeah, man, because we got some solid guys in Birmingham as well. So you should definitely come. I think Braulio teaches there, Braulio Steamer. So in Birmingham,
another legend. Yeah.
And then you got Fabian Edwards, Leon Edwards. These guys are all in Birmingham. So that's could be a hotspot for you if you ever come to the UK, man.
Birmingham. Yeah, Leon actually did come out to AKA in the past, and I've had the chance to train with him and stuff like that. So that would be really cool.
How was that training with him? How did
it was awesome. I think we only matched up on a grappling day, which obviously is kind of my jam. We didn't get to like fully mix it up, and he was quite a bit bigger than me at the time. I was a bit of a kid, but he was a super cool guy, stand-up dude. I really enjoyed him, so I'm always rooting for the dude.
Yeah, because he might be fighting for the title soon as well. So you'll be training with like the best cream of the cream at the top. So I want 2 predictions now for these fights. So
DC.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Steve obviously we are to DC, right? AKA guy. Nemkov and Beta. Main. You know,
to be completely fair on that fight, I haven't seen Nemkov enough. I know he's a tough SOB, but man, Bader is something special these days. If I had to put money down, I would put it on the champ Bader.
Yeah, because Nemkov beat Phil Davis, so he beat Phil Davis, and he's beat a few solid guys, man. He's training under Fedor, right? He's training under Fedor.
Yep.
So okay, so Beta, yeah.
Yeah, and then you know, biasly, I'm obviously always going to be in DC's corner, but even unbiasedly, like that dude's won 90% of the time that he spent in the cage with Stipe. You know, I truly believe that DC is the better fighter, and if he goes in there and he remains focused and does what he needs to do, he's gonna remind people and make quicker work of him and really cement. Not that he hasn't already, but even more so cement his legacy as one of the greatest ever.
Okay, so you think he's gonna finish it, DC?
I think he's gonna. Yeah, I think he's gonna finish it just for the fact that if he does put him on the ground, DC's so nasty with his ground and pound that I think Stipe will find exhaustion and find a way out.
Okay, because me and my brother do mukbang fight nights, right? So we eat and watch the fights live on our YouTube. So
okay.
It's good that I'm getting the advice from you because the you know the food we're ordering, whoever wins, the loser has to pay.
The loser
yeah, so I need some advice, man, so I can get the W. So yeah, all right, DC, yeah, okay,
yeah.
How do you think Bader finishes them? Do you think he finishes him or decision?
Man, Bader's hard as tell because I would say he's just going to decision him, but then all of a sudden he's knocking people out with jabs and check hooks, you know. So Bader's a really hard call to make. Honestly, the way that he's been looking, he might just finish him.
All right. Bader finish. Last one, Khabib and Gaethje. Your lightweight division, man. So
again, biasly, I'm gonna say Khabib before you even finish your sentence. But even unbiasedly, like I've heard a lot of people in the MMA community talking about how Gaethje is like a really hard matchup for Khabib and how he's harder than Tony Ferguson for Khabib. And I almost kind of disagree with that because
have you trained with Gaethje or?
No, I haven't got a chance to train with Gaethje, met Gaethje or nothing. I've always been a fan, you know. I like the dude, but this the thing is Gaethje's really good in the wrestling department as well. There's not a wrestler in the UFC division, lightweight division, that's gonna stop Khabib's takedowns when he needs to get those takedowns. Now, if Khabib shoots bad takedowns when Gaethje is waiting, yeah, Gaethje is gonna defend it, but if Gaethje does what Gaethje does and starts to swing, even though he looked way more composed in his last fight, as soon as he swings, he's getting taken down. And I think Gaethje possesses way less of a threat off of his back than Ferguson ever did. I was way more concerned about the Ferguson matchup. With that being said, Gaethje's crafty and he's an SOB, so it's going to be a really hard fight for Khabib regardless. But yeah, definitely Khabib.
No, because I was thinking about it, and you know, Gaethje, he's a NCAA Division I wrestler, right? Has Khabib ever fought someone at his wrestling level? The only guy I can think of was Kamal Charles in his debut.
Yeah.
That's it. So
fought? I don't think so, but I've seen him with plenty NCAA wrestlers.
And how's he done?
He does just fine. He does just fine.
National champs or like Division I, like?
Yeah, name it.
You serious?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because
it's a different thing. It's a different thing because he has that combat sambo background, and there's a cage involved. There's nobody that's as good off the cage than Khabib when he's pressuring you against the cage. Between his trips, his throws, his off balance techniques, like I said, that the weird strength that he does possess, like it makes it really, really hard. If you put Khabib in a singlet and put him in a wrestling room, okay, maybe those national champs are gonna beat him. But if we have a wall involved and we have punches going on, it's something, you know, there's a reason why he's the champion. He's undefeated. And also, like, Khabib doesn't have the cleanest striking, but Khabib possesses power. I mean, ask Conor, right? If Gaethje's too relaxed, if he's waiting too much on the takedown, like, Khabib's going to make him respect the fact that it's an MMA fight, and that's going to open up the chance to take him down.
Yeah, because, okay, because you said, name it, anyone. Him and John Fitch, how was that? Have you seen that live, them two going at it?
Oh, yeah, plenty of times.
How did that one go? Was it like back and forth, or was it?
Well, you can't really kiss and tell, right? But
okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay,
but yeah,
I'm trying to be a bit cheeky, but I'm trying to get some.
Hey, you're doing your job, man. I gotta stick to my guns, bro. You know, he's had some great exchanges with a lot of those top guys.
Because I'm asking you because you had first direct experience.
Yeah.
So it's best to ask them people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. I think we're gonna wrap it here. I think actually, you know what? Any final thoughts on your fight? Like anything you want to let out? Anything?
Just tune in and see what's going to happen. You know, it's going to be a scrap. It's going to be a great fight. I'm going to make this thing super one-sided. But it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And you guys can watch it on YouTube, which will make it nice and easy. Hey, and while you're on YouTube, shoot over to the Bomb MMA and hit subscribe. I have a whole old vlog series that I used to do. That's a lot of fun to go back and watch. But I think I'm going to take a lot of my Twitch streaming and I might start taking that over to the YouTube streaming too. So if you want to get updates on that, you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button over there too for me.
Definitely, man. Definitely. The YouTube's long, right? It's a lot of people don't realize, isn't it? It's a lot of effort, right?
Yeah. Oh, YouTube is no joke, man. Like
yeah.
I had an amazing editor for a long time, which was why we were able to produce these really cool vlogs. Like I said, it's me from like 3 or 4 years ago now, but it was a lot of fun, you know, and it was really cool. I'm actually kind of hoping one day that the right editor is going to see that and be like, yo, I'll take over editing for you, because that's the only thing is it's so much work to actually put those videos together and to, you know, and to get them out there. So, but if you guys do want to see some old content, that's a ton of fun. It's definitely on there, including techniques. You know, I was doing a technical Tuesday every series, a series where I would do a technique each week and stuff like that. So that's all on there too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, because we don't have an editor right now, so we're hoping once we start getting some actual money, we can get an editor, man. Because my brother does all the editing, so I do the interview. My brother does all that, so yeah, it's really long. I'd like to thank you for your time, man. So the Bomb MMA, subscribe. Is there any sponsors or anyone you'd like to shout out?
Man, I've always been an audit athlete. I can't express how much I appreciate them. They've been an amazing organization throughout this whole entire career of mine. Like I say, they started supporting me before they had any business supporting me, and I appreciate them to the moon and back for that. I just hooked up with a new CBD company called Vital Minds. I really like their products, so you guys can check them out as well. Besides that, I got all my local sponsors that keep it real and have always been supporting me. So thank you to all those guys. And finally, Triumph United has been super strong, supporting me, providing me with some of the best gear. So I can honestly say too, like whenever I used to do boxing, like I'd always hurt my thumb, I'd always hurt my hand and stuff like that. And I truly enjoy their gloves and their products. So huge thanks to all those guys. And that's about it.
And where can people find you on social media, man?
Yeah, get me on IG at Adam Piccolotti, just as it is, Piccolotti. And hit me up, shoot me a DM, I'll answer. Just do me one favor and don't say hi, right? Like, you know, engage in a conversation and I'll engage you back.
And just like thank you, man, for coming on. Wish you luck on your fight. You know, this is coming up now, 7 days, right? Friday, August 21st, people. So make sure you check in on Bellator YouTube channel, right?
Yep.
And subscribe to his channel, The Bomb MMA. Thanks for your time, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you.
Take care, bro. Thanks.
Bye.
Hope you enjoyed this interview, guys, with Mr. Adam the Bomb Piccolotti. I'd like to thank Adam Piccolotti for coming onto the show. Make sure you check him out on Bellator 244, Friday, August 21st on the Bellator YouTube channel. If you like these kind of interviews, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the podcast and press the bell notification down below. Peace.